Alright everyone, time for a video that you probably didn't expect. I'm actually denouncing the gun charge against Hunterbiden, the one that they retain. The charges that they're likely to drop, things related to, I don't know, fraud, espionage, human trafficking, meaningful things that actually matter, have effectively, those aren't as important. It's most important that he lied on a federal forum when he bought a gun and said, no, I'm totally not smoking crack at the time that I own this, and I guess his girlfriend or something at the time threw it in a dumpster, and so improper disposal of a firearm might also be a criminal offense. Wondering if they'll look into that. I oppose it because I do not believe that federal background checks should even be a thing. I think that you should be able to show an ID, properly issued ID, and purchase a firearm same day with whatever attachments and variations and as much ammo as you want. I do not believe in gun control. The only caveat is that you should have to prove that you're actually a member of the militia in order to obtain the gun. That means showing an ID. Hey, you're 18 or older, you happen to be a U.S. citizen, you are legally privileged, to use the colloquial sense, yes, I know it's not the constitutional one, you are able to buy a gun. It's your right, you're a member of the militia. Under the Second Amendment, you have the inalienable right to do so. About the only thing is that you could have people, if they're a felon, when they get an ID, it's marked felon, and so it's invalid for a gun purchase, and that should only be for violent felonies, by the way. I don't care if somebody committed tax fraud and got found guilty of a white-collar crime and they buy a gun. They're not clearly a menace to society. In some states, it's not a problem. In other states, it is, but then there's the federal background check, and it doesn't really make sense, and considering the fact that if you attach certain things to what is clearly a pistol, it magically becomes a rifle under federal doctrine, or that if you take what is effectively a rifle and then you take a few components off, it magically becomes a pistol. It's like the short-barreled rifle designation. Does anyone think that that makes any sense whatsoever? No, not really. The gun control at the federal level especially is completely messed up. It's sort of like the drug war when you look at drug laws where marijuana remains scheduled above certain opioids. That doesn't really make much sense either now, does it? Scheduled above ketamine, which Elon Musk apparently is fond of occasionally using because it helps balance him and treat, I guess, chronic depression or something like that. He says it helps him work harder. He says his shareholders are happy about the fact that he's on ketamine. Yeah, you do you. It's sort of like when Mitt Romney ran for the presidency. I'm like, okay, but he's a Mormon, so if he gets a call at 4 o'clock in the morning that there's been a nuclear attack and he has to respond in the next 10 minutes while he's being rushed off to the bunker, he's not even allowed to grab a caffeinated beverage. I don't think that that's a great idea. Hunterbiden should not be on trial for this. He should be on trial for human trafficking, because according to the laptop components, we know that he likely brought prostitutes across state lines. I don't care that he hired prostitutes, as long as they were of legal age, and in a couple of cases, it's dubious. It's not entirely clear, but we don't have proof, so I don't know. It can be looked into, but nobody's really looking into it. That's the problem. But he did traffic them across state lines. That's a no-no. And then you get into the Commerce Clause. You're allowed to sell your pussy, but you're not allowed to sell it in a state other than the one that you reside in. Unless you switch residency, you're not allowed to sell your cock or vagina. Again, the law is like an ass. It makes no sense and makes a lot of shit, basically. And the gun charge, who cares? Oh my god, he bought a gun while he was on crack, and so he lied on a federal forum. Who cares? It doesn't make any difference. The fact that somebody uses drugs does not intrinsically make them, incapable of wielding a firearm. It may nullify their capability of acting as a part of an active militia, but it doesn't mean that they're technically not still part of the militia. It's just that they're not well regulated at that time. You smoke a little bit of crack, your aim probably isn't as great as when you're sober. I would note that people who drink are allowed to buy guns. I would note that marijuana is no longer generally considered to be a nullification of owning guns or anything like that. I don't agree with the law. It makes no sense. It's hypocritical and it's outdated and has a lot of double standards and weird shit in it that doesn't need to exist. And I'm sitting here defending Hunterbiden. I can't defend his character in general. He's a drug addict, supposedly in recovery. We'll see. He has probably banged hundreds of prostitutes. Imagine the number of fungal and parasitical things growing on his urethra. He's a scumbag. But what's meaningful there is that he was coordinating the scumbaggery of Daddy when Daddy was in office and out of office as a former politician. That matters. Trafficking potentially underage people for prostitution purposes matters. Smoking crack, don't care. Lied on the gun form, don't care, because I don't think that that form should even exist in the first place. Hell, if I was on the fucking jury trying to decide this, I would not have to nullify the jury. For Biden's son, no less, because I'm no hypocrite. No, there shouldn't be any gun control meaningfully in the United States. Mark violent felons' ID and simply have people show an ID to get whatever the hell they want. You know, you still have an FFL system and stuff like that. There should be no further regulations, and that's just to make sure that it's a militia member who's actually constitutionally able to buy the gun. Or a lawful U.S. resident, permanent resident, that's okay. They should buy guns too. You know, the more the merrier. I don't think that illegals should be buying guns, but apparently they're allowed to do so now. I don't think that was what the Bruin decision actually entailed, but, you know, the courts have determined that. If we're going to allow people who are illegally in the country, who are literally illegal just by physically being here, to own firearms, if we have no problem with that, then why should somebody who smokes crack not be able to have a gun? And they're going to get it anyway. They'll just get it from a back alley. They'll get some cheap high point from the local arms smuggler or something like that. It's not like you can stop it. So if you can't pragmatically stop it, why are we wasting money bothering to litigate on that issue when we've got him dead to rights on so many other things? Prosecute him for the tax fraud. Prosecute him for the trafficking. But leave him alone on the guns. Yeah, he should go to prison, absolutely. I'm hoping that he does. But I'm hoping he gets found not guilty on this charge. Hell, the fucking NRA and like GOA and stuff like that have said, oh, he shouldn't be in on this charge because the charge shouldn't be physically possible. You've got a bunch of right-wing pro-gun groups that are defending Hunterbiden right now. That should tell you something about the legal system's priorities. That's about all. Peace out.